What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast. I'm your host, LeBron Steffen, but you can call me L Beezy, L Boogie, Big Brown, B Brown, LB, whatever you choose. Welcome to episode 55. We have a very special guest. Winston Etheridge is on the show today. He's jumping on right now. So let's go.
A guy who came from Cleveland.
Okay, well, you ain't from Cleveland, no.
Cleveland was the best location in the nation.
You know, we from Cleveland, Ohio.
Glenville community on the east side of Cleveland.
Cleveland was called the best location in the nation.
My dog.
Bro, what's good, baby?
Good, man. Hey, I appreciate you jumping on, man.
Man, I appreciate you inviting me, man.
Oh, you already know. So yeah, man, like I was telling you, this is called the After Effects Show, man. I created it about 8 months ago because I feel like it's power in our stories. As you know, we know a lot of the same guys, man, but we have a 20+ year relationship with our sport, football, some basketball, some track. And when it's all said and done and we're asked to transition out of that sport, I've always felt like that transition is minimized. Everyone thinks that it's easy, and it's not always easy for everyone, right? So this is a free and safe space for us to kind of like relive our football journey, talk about some good times and bad times from community league to high school to college to professional to transition out of the sport. And this is a free and safe space for us to talk about it. And I've had a lot of guests on, but obviously I've been trying to get you on for a while because I think our relationship is unique. We were football and basketball teammates in high school.
Yeah.
And then obviously we both went and played Division I college football. You experienced some turbulence. Your career ended early and you made some really dope and great decisions to further your education and to kind of get where you are now. So I love getting guys on who have unique stories, man. And so like I said, bro, I appreciate you carving out the time.
Man, no doubt, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you have going on, too, man. This is pretty good. That was a good idea to, be able to relive, memories and think about things, man. Since the last, you hit me up last week, and I just been thinking about good moments, bad moments, and it's like, man, it's making, it took me back a little bit, Sometimes
I know.
So busy and what we got going on, we forget the good times.
Bro, I'm telling you, and again, that's why, like, man, it's funny that you say, remember the good times. Like, as you can see, I got my jersey hung up in the back here, bro, but I'm 32 years old, and this is literally the first time I ever hung my college jersey up. I hung it up for the show because a lot of me, like, we're athletes, so we're natural competitors, like,
Yeah.
And so a lot of me, I felt like I underachieved, right? I didn't make it to the NFL. I never put on that NFL helmet. Yes, I played professional arena football and I had a lot of NFL tryouts, but I never ultimately made it. So for years in my 20s, I just felt like I underachieved. I never wanted to talk about the experience. I hid my jersey in my closet. I never hung it up. It was like I was never proud of what I had done, bro.
Yeah.
And then luckily the pandemic transpired and that was able to help me kind of relive everything that we did do. I started thinking about those Glenville moments, the football moments, the basketball moments.
Yeah.
I started remembering the things that I did do. Like, and so that's what gave me like kind of the courage, if you will, to create a platform like this and to relive our journey. This power in our stories. So many guys make it. I have NFL guys on here. They talk about going from a broke college student to a millionaire. That transition is hard.
Yeah.
But also transitions like we had to go through, going from a broke college student and having to figure it out, like going into the real world.
Yeah.
with minimal resources or kind of having to build our metrics of resources, man. So yeah, it's a free and safe space, bro. So again, man, if you cool with it, we can just dive right into it.
Let's go.
So first off, I've always felt like we are more than athletes, which we are. So I love talking current events. right now I just have two current events for you, man. Obviously I think we got 2 weeks left of the NBA championship before the playoffs start. So who do you have taking home the NBA championship this year, and why?
Man, I'm going with the Lakers, man.
You know
Hey,
it.
LeBron has never had this much rest. This man is
Ever.
about to come out and man, he's gonna relive his 20s. I mean, the guy is gonna be so revamped, so refreshed, so ready to go. His teammates are, they're gelling right now without him. So, with that guy, you could put him in on any team and it's go time, man. The guy is going. He's just a floor general. So you can put him with anybody on the floor, and he's gonna go. And with AD and the supporting cast he has with him, Drummond. Them guys ready, bro. They
ready.
They
ready.
Gonna own that paint.
You already know, and I had to ask you that question because, like I said earlier, we were basketball teammates. So I've always felt like even as a young guy, you had a real like basketball mind. Obviously, we both did because we talk basketball so often because we were teammates. Yeah. But I feel the same way. You already know, Bron is year 18, 36 years old. He's never ever had this much rest during a basketball season. Now, if you really know basketball, you saw that injury, and you saw how he came back. Bron could have came back from that injury like 2 weeks ago.
No
he
doubt.
Cool. He good.
He 100%.
He good, bro. But like we said, he taking his time because all those other guys are gelling. They're winning games. They're still in fifth in the West. So when he come back, give him 7 to 8 or 9 games to get that chemistry back for the playoffs. And then they going.
It's good because honestly, they have even without him being on the floor right now, you can watch them. They still have the best chemistry out of all the teams in the NBA. The Nets may have the best talent, but they're not gelling, man. It's like an AAU team. We both play AAU ball. It's an AAU team out there. They running the floor, no chemistry, no symmetry, nothing. And they balling, man.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you said that because everybody talk about, okay, hopefully we see the Nets and the Lakers in the finals, and if Bron get his 5th championship, you can't compare him to Jordan and Kobe no more. But I tell people all the time, you can't just say the Nets gonna get out the East. They still got to play the Bucks. They still got to play the Sixers. Yeah. And if Joel and B got something to say about that, it's not gonna be an easy task.
The Sixers, they ain't no pushovers. You ain't gonna step over them.
Exactly. You already know. And they will coach. So yeah, I'm excited about the playoffs, man. Last current event. Obviously, I was born in 89. I believe you were born in 90.
89.
89 as well. Yeah. Okay, cool. We've never had to walk through a coronavirus pandemic. The world has never ever shut down on us. So obviously 2020 was like the weirdest year to date. How did you find yourself having to grow as a leader of a household, as a Black man, as a father? I felt like 2020, it was weird in a sense where the world finally started to get an inside look at what we've been talking about this whole time. What it's like to be Black, what it's like to experience injustice your whole life and have to kind of become numb to it, to live, to not get in trouble. So where did you find yourself being in 2020 where you had to experience growth? Like what areas did you grow in 2020, if you don't mind talking about it?
Man, so great question. My particular career was deemed essential. So I didn't have one day off in terms of COVID time off or anything like that. So I worked, face to face with people every day. So man, at first, when you hear all these stories with COVID, we look at the news, we hear everything that was going on in New York. In Atlanta, the numbers were increasing day after day. It was just crazy. So, I was going to work every morning, and I leave the house, man. I'm praying, bro. I'm like, man, I have my youngest boy was born in 2020. Wow. It hit. So it's like I got a newborn at home, and I got to leave and go to work, and man, it was just so many thoughts going through my head that I just had to, keep the faith, man. I'm just like, man. It was tough. My wife was nervous. Me coming out the house, I'm literally stripping down in the garage. What I'm saying? Going straight to the shower. So she didn't play about that. But they didn't leave the house. I was the one leaving the house. I was going grocery shopping. You know, just to make sure, you know, if anybody got it, I was the only one that got it. And
Right,
you know,
right. As a man, let me ask you this, bro. Like you said, I know you had to stay prayed up every day because you were the only one leaving, but like, did that create any like anxiety for you? Like, did you hit any points where it's like, oh man, did I misstep here? Did I take my mask off around the wrong person for a second to get like to get a glass of water? Like, was it did any anxiety happen for you? Because you obviously you didn't want to misstep, and you're the leader. So you want to show that you can make the right decisions in these kind of circumstances, but also you're human. Like you may have to go to the bathroom, use the bathroom. You may get thirsty and you take your mask off and get some water or eat a meal. Like, so what was that like? How did you manage all that? Like, what did you have to tap into to manage that?
Man, I had to tap into a different part of my brain, bro. I mean, I had to be very strategic in everything I did in terms of just going to buy extra boxes of pens at my job, just so, you know, we're not recycling through pens and wiping down my desk, wiping down my keyboard, wiping down the doorknobs in my office and just everything, man, not touching, you know, the contracts that I use and the paperwork and things like that after the customer touches them without gloves on. And, you know, everything all day long, man, I just kept referring back to, man, I can't take, you know, this home to my family. So it was like, it to answer your question,
you use
bro,
that as motivation.
To answer your question, though, that anxiety was no joke. I mean, it was times where I was like, man, I don't want to go in today. But like you said, as the leader of my department, I couldn't show that, you know, and I had to find a way to kind of put that shield up and be like, you know what, I'm good. We're going to go to work. We're going to do what we came here to do.
Right. We're going to get it done.
We're going to get it done.
Get the job done. Yeah. Did it at any part of that, because I love that so much, at any part of that, do you feel like you had to tap into any of the lessons that you learned in football where like you said, you don't want to get up, you don't want to go and finish this sprint, or you don't want to go and do this when times are bad, or maybe you're not getting the playing time that you thought you was going to get. But it's like you said, you still got to get up. You're the leader of your department. You're the captain of the team. You still got to fight through that and finish, no matter if you like the circumstances or not.
Man, great question. Because I was just thinking earlier, I was out on a walk, and one good memory came to mind. When we, you know, I think it was our first year at Glenville, and we played Mentor at the Brown Stadium.
Yeah, I remember.
Coach Ginn asked me, he said, son, I can't remember who was out. It was a left tackle that was out that game. But he was like, son, I want you to wear number 50 this game. And I was like, why? He was like, you're going to have to fill in for that left tackle. Mind you, you know, you play center. I never practiced left tackle. But I got in that game. And I mean, that's what we do. We learn how to rise in tough situations. And that's what we do. We athletes. So, I mean, we hybrid players. I mean, me and you both, we played all damn near every position. Bro.
Everywhere, man. Tight end, center, defensive end, linebacker.
So it was like, you know, that game, it was like, man, I'm playing left tackle. I ain't never played left tackle. I'm used to playing defense and tight end and things like that. So it was like, okay, I got to take what I learned from tight end and just use my natural athleticism against a great team. So it was like, you know, you grow when you challenge yourself, or when you become comfortable being uncomfortable, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love that. That's where the true growth is. But like you say, everyone doesn't want to experience that because it's not pizzas and cream. No. It's like being uncomfortable is extremely uncomfortable. That's why it's uncomfortable. No one wants to experience that.
Yes. And to that point, man, I mean, that's how I've honed on that my entire career, man. Since Glenville, you know, just starting at Glenville, it taught me so many core values and things that I use today in my life. I'm even implementing it with grown men that I manage. I mean, it's phenomenal, man. And just is like you said, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, man. That's what my life is, man. I always, it's something negative, I find a way to make it positive. Even in my mind, I'd be like, you know what? It's a positive in that negative somewhere. Exactly. I just got to be creative in finding it, and that makes me feel better about pushing forward.
Yeah, always, man. I love it, bro. So let's dive into your childhood. Obviously, like you said, you was born in '89. Man, talk about from your viewpoint, talk about the Cleveland culture growing up in the 90s. I hate saying this because this makes me feel old, but we are getting old.
Yeah, we are.
We in the 90s, bro, and you know how the 90s were. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones. We used to literally go outside, be outside all day, interact with each other. Like, so tell me from your viewpoint, what was the culture in Cleveland in the 90s? Like, did you have any mentors growing up? Did you have anybody that you looked up to in the 90s that kind of kept you on that path as you continue with athletics and academics?
Oh, for sure, man. I obviously I lost my father at 7. So at 7 years old, it was like, man, I need that father figure. I need that, that mentor. A little guidance. Everybody needs guidance. Everybody needs somebody that can pick up the phone and call. So my mom did a very, very good job with one, making sure my uncles were in my life and involved in my life. 2, making sure she knew the coaches that I played for. She always wanted to surround me with great men. So, I mean, starting with my down at DuPont, down on Lakeview, I played baseball. And, Coach Dwight, he went to our church. So it was like she knew him. She knew his wife very well. I knew him. Shit, I grew up with him, in the church or whatnot. So I knew him very well. So he was a great mentor starting off. And then when you move forward, I mean, I had coaches, Coach Ginn, Daryl Bolden, pillars in the Glenville community who really helped instill certain things in me, certain core values that are priceless, man. That will literally, I'm instilling in my boys. I mean, it's just amazing. And my mom, my aunt graduated with Coach Ginn, so it was like they signed off on Coach Ginn, like, yeah, you going over there to play with Coach Ginn. So
right.
It was easy for everybody, transferring out of St. Joe's, Villa Angela St. Joseph. It was like, man, I'm going into a whole different world. But it was a world in terms of, certain things. But everybody in that Glenville community I grew up with, because I grew up off St. Clair all my life, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I knew everybody. It was just, different schools, different things like that. So, mentors is very important. And
very important.
I have mentors to this day, man, and I never stop having mentors, because
of course
you always need to have a strong circle of influence, man. Somebody that can tell you when you're doing wrong and be real with you and be doing it, because that's the only way you're gonna grow. And that's the only way, like you said, me being the head of my house, that's the only way I'm gonna grow as a man.
Hey, man, I totally agree. I remember the elementary school I went to, it was called Grace Mount Elementary, and Desmond Howard went there. So I remember after the Packers won the Super Bowl, he was Super Bowl MVP. He came back to our school, and we had like a little assembly meeting or whatever. And he talked to us for like 20 minutes, bro. And I remember I had both my parents in my life. I had a father figure. But all I needed was that little 20 minutes. I was like 8 years old. But that put the battery in my back so much, because to see somebody come from exactly where I came from and walk the same streets, go to the same schools and make it, like, that's when that battery, I was only 8 years old, but that battery hit, like, okay, I'm gonna take my academic serious, which I already was, but I'm gonna take sports serious. And I'm gonna at least play Division I. Maybe I may not make the NFL, but I was determined. I was determined to play in the league. I mean to play Division I, bro. And I just remember us first meeting, because we transferred literally the same week. So I think your first day at the Ville was my first day at the Ville. And I just remember just, with certain guys, you can kind of tell guys who focus. Like, of course, we was 16, 15 years old. Yeah. So we go, mess with the girls, do, whatever we gonna do. For
sure.
but you can just tell who is serious about football, like who is gonna put the work in. You can kind of tell who probably was gonna go D1, who may not because of their grades or this or that. You can kind of tell. And I always feel like we vibed on that, just on just on that viewpoint, just on that focus, like, you know what I'm saying? And you play basketball as well, man. So I love that, bro. I love that. So talk about, man, when you started to come into your own, because I feel like it happens for everybody at different stages. For me, it was probably like 10th grade. I think I hit a growth spurt. I think I gained like 10, 15 pounds. I started getting all the mail, and I started getting all the mail from all the universities. The offers started to come. Talk about this when you started coming to your own, when you got comfortable, and like you say, the recruiting started coming, and the offers started coming. When was that for you?
Well, I think I actually came into my own in basketball first because I didn't start playing football until high school. Because I was always overweight, couldn't make the weight. So I actually came into my own my 8th grade year. I played for the King James Shooting Stars. Coach Drew Joyce, LeBron James, high school coach, was my coach. We traveled.
Okay.
I played with Delmont Rowe and a lot of those guys, man. Kyle. And
I remember all those guys.
Yeah. Then it was like, okay, I can do something with sports, you know. Just seeing those guys and how they performed at such a high level, and then getting into Villa Angeles St. Joseph, playing basketball, playing with David Lighty, and those guys, and me and him were real tight, and just getting on the court with him, playing with him, and it was like, damn, like this athletic thing is pretty sweet. So after that, I started playing football. So I come to find out basketball ain't gonna be my thing. I ain't growing tall anymore. I'm going out wide. So I need to play football. So my mom and I, we had a heart-to-heart. We set an appointment to go meet with Coach Yin in his office. We talked to Coach Yin, man, and it was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be. He didn't promise me anything except that he would teach me life skills, and that if I work for it, I'll go to school for free. And at that point, that's all I wanted.
That's all I need to hear.
Them letters start rolling in. Like you said, we transferred the same week.
Yeah.
With you transferring and a lot more of the transfers and the guys that were there, I was amazed because I wasn't around as many athletes at once, ever.
Right.
And then we went on the GAN tour and things like that. I'm like, damn. Like,
right.
You know
all
what I'm
these guys.
I'm like, man, this is a lot of money in this room. This is D1 everywhere. So it was just real eye-opening and being around guys like you, because obviously we played the same position. So it was like working out with you and, going through everything with you. I'm just like, Lee, you was older than me. So it was like, I kind of, follow behind y'all footsteps because of the older guys. This is just how it is at Glenville. The younger guys respect the older guys, and we going to work, just as hard. We're going to try to work just as hard. Yeah, exactly. So it was like, man, it was like, at that point, it was like, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm surrounded by talent, the best talent in the state. And
so much
the best talent in the country.
So much talent.
It was like, man, every day I was going to practice, going against Shaq, going against DeWine, going against, certain guys on that offensive line, man, Marcus, Nick Marcus, going against some of them guys, man. It's like, that was game day for me.
That's game day.
That's game day. It was harder going against my own teammates than
any other team. Exactly. Yeah. Bro, what's crazy, man? I had Kyle Jefferson on here. I had Donnie Fletcher. Bro, I even just had Coach Luke Davis on here.
Big Luke.
And Big Luke. Yeah. And man, we was talking about that. I can't even lie. Like, we're older now, in our 30s, man. But I kind of felt like I took those times. I wouldn't say I took it for granted, but I think we all were so locked into performing well that we didn't really get to take a step back and say, and just look around. Like, man, I'm with all these guys are my teammates, all this talent. Like you said, some of the best talent in the state for sure. But at some places, the best talent in the country. Like,
in the country, bro.
Just like, I'm like, man, these are my dogs. These are my teammates. These are my homies. Like, I just feel like as a young dude, I was so locked into doing well, consistently being consistent, and kind of trying to like put my own stamp on my name at the field, because we're coming behind so many greats, the Robert Rose, the Curtis Youngs, the Pierre Woods.
Yeah.
We trying to put our own stamp on it. And I was so focused on that. It was like, I feel like I didn't take the time to say, damn, I'm with Cordell Scott and Kyle Jefferson, Jamel Hines, and Winston Etheridge and Willie Lowe and Donnie Fletcher. The list go on and on.
On and on. On and on. It's crazy.
All these guys go to play D1, ACC, Big Ten, SEC, Mike Edwards went to Tennessee. Just all these all this talent, bro. I think we had 8 or 9 guys go Big Ten. Like just as a young guy, we always just so, and like you say, people don't even understand what our practices was like, man. Practice, I'm going against the people who people don't know are Hyson and Arlen and Eddie Mason.
Yeah.
Like, dogs for real. Dogs.
Yeah.
Fighting, scratching in practice for ticking the game. Like, man, we just had, it was so much talent, and the practices were so competitive, bro. Like, people just don't understand what that was like what that molds you into, just as a young man, as a Black man, being able to fight through life's challenges. That stuff was really molding us, you know what I'm saying, for whatever we experience in the future.
Yeah, because usually, you know, at certain schools, you the man. So it's like you go to practice and you can...
You chilling.
Yeah, you chilling, but at our practice, you half-ass a drill, you're going to get your head knocked off. I mean,
I'm telling you.
You're going to have Big Larry or Big Shaq coming around pulling.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. Like, man, those was good times, man. So, man, talk about your recruitment process. Who was in your top 3, and then why ultimately did you choose Bowling Green?
Oh man, well, recruiting was awesome. I wasn't recruited until I came to Glenville, and it's just amazing how powerful Glenville is, and Coach Ginn, in terms of, you know, getting guys into school, getting guys recruited. You know, I always, you know, was see on Max Preps and Rivals and all that. I used to always see the Robert Roses and Ray Smalls and all of them getting recruited.
Yeah.
You know, man, I ain't getting nothing. So transferred to Glenville, you know, start getting them letters, start coming. But Bowling Green, Toledo, IU, they finally came around at the very, very end. At that point, Coach Campbell, Matt Campbell. I don't know if you know Coach Campbell. He was the coach at Toledo. He was the offensive line coach and offensive line coordinator at Bowling Green. Okay. He recruited me the hardest out of everybody. And me and him used to have conversations on the phone. He came over and met my mom and I in the living room. And it was like, man, I'm good on picking up on vibes, bro. Like, right. You can always tell what's authentic. Yeah. Always picked up on vibes really well with everybody. And it was always something about Coach Campbell. Every time I talked to him, his favorite line was, "What's new, big guy? What's new?" And I remember that. Like, it's so sharp in my mind, our conversations that we used to have. But it was just something about Coach Campbell that made me really just want to go to Bowling Green. I went on my visit there. You know, the guy that I was shadowing when I went there, he was my best man in my wedding. It's just crazy how life works. Wow,
I mean, wow, that's dope. That's dope.
He was a year older than me. He was your class. Okay. He started I think as a redshirt freshman at BG, and I mean, from there, like, me and him, we connected, and then it was like, man, that Bowling Green is spot. I'm like, it's a good school. Everybody was going elsewhere. Everybody was going to Toledo. Everybody was going, you know, in terms of the mid-major D1 schools. But I was like, you know what? I want to go to Bowling Green. I want to do something different. I was the first person out of Glenville to go to Bowling Green, and that's where I wanted to go.
I remember that. Yeah. So, man, talk about, like,
Coach Ginn had signed off on it, so it was like, hey, let's go. Right,
no doubt, man. So talk about your transition, man, going from the inner city of Cleveland to Bowling Green. Talk about, like, you know, that first camp, and then also kind of expound on, you know, like, everyone thinks an athletic journey is peaches and cream. If you got all the talent, if you work hard, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna make it, right? But people don't account for injuries and turbulence and things like that, having to fight through that kind of stuff. So talk about your transition from the inner city of Cleveland to Bowling Green, but then also kind of expound on those different injuries that you went through that kind of derailed your career or made you know that you would have to go in a different direction.
Well, the transition from the inner city to Bowling Green was very tough because I didn't have access to a lot of things I had access to in Cleveland. I would have to go to Toledo, or, you know, I have to try to find ways to come home, you know, just to buy certain clothes that I would like to wear, or just, you know, this small stuff like that, get certain food that I'm used to eating.
Exactly.
Just you know, little small things like, damn, this is tough. You know, a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
don't understand that. I mean, Iowa is similar to like Bowling Green. It's like a
Yeah, really
country
a
town.
college town. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So it was like a lot of people don't understand that it's a big trend. It's a culture shock almost. It's a big culture shock, man, and it's very, very again uncomfortable.
Exactly. Because you stand out like a sore thumb. You like the only black person in the class full of 200, 300 people. It may be 2 other black guys. That's your teammates.
Yeah.
But you're just not used to that.
You're not used to it, man. I mean,
right.
And another thing is it was overwhelming. You know, going to college and, you know, shit, being in a lecture hall full of 100 people, and you know, you can't really get too intimate with the professor in terms of asking them certain questions. You got to go to office hours and
exactly.
You know, trying to manage waking up at 5 a.m. for weights.
Right.
And, after
those
weights,
days,
you got
so
training
long.
table. After training table, you got your first class. After your first class, you got to go back and get treatment. After treatment, you going to class. You going to get lunch. After that, you got practice. After that, you got night class. You got training table.
You got to do homework. You got to fit in your tutor somewhere inside of there.
Yeah.
Like you said, you got treatment, but after treatment, you got special teams meeting. Then you got individual. Then you got D-line meeting. Then you got practice. Then you got training table. Then you got homework. By then it's 11:30 at night. You got to wake up and do the same thing the next day at 5 a.m.
Yeah. And a big thing that I was a mentor when I was in grad school at University of Memphis. And the one thing I used to always tell the guys, man, school first, football, you got to try your best to try to incorporate a social life, or it'll drive you crazy. You have to try your best to incorporate a social life, man. And as busy as that schedule is, even if it's just, you know, in the student union at lunchtime when you're in your lunch, just try to, you know, cut loose a little bit and have a little good time and have fun, and then get back to business. You know what I'm saying? You have to, or you'll burn yourself out.
I'm telling you, man, you need that social life, because like you said, if you don't have it, you burn yourself out. But also what I found happened to me is like when you're stricken from that social life, when things don't work out, like it hits you harder because you don't have that social life to revert back to.
Alone.
Exactly. It's like you feel so alone because you didn't get to even experience the full experience, because you were so entrenched in this football thing and academics. Like you say, you have a social life maybe one day or one night a week after the game. You may go out on Saturday, but is that enough? Sunday through Friday, you don't have a life. You're literally football school. Not even going to any of the things off campus. And that's one of the things that I feel like I dropped the ball on. So like you said, I try to tell the next generation whenever I'm talking to younger guys, like you said, throw in the social life, go to an event, go to a function, like try to meet new people, like just, you know what I mean? Try to ingratiate yourself in the campus.
And that was big for me, because at a certain point, man, I just started networking with everybody, especially like you said, I hit a little turbulence in my football career my freshman year. You know, I got in, I had it's called an athletic heart, where the muscle around my heart thickened. So I had to wait for it to come back down. I seen specialists and everything, but they wouldn't. The team doctor wouldn't clear me. So I basically just trained. Where that muscle around my heart actually shrunk a little bit. My second year, you know, I played a little bit, and the same thing happened. So at that point, you had to make a decision. I had to make a tough decision, man. The team doctor was like, "No, we're not clearing you. It's too much of a liability." You know, I got cleared by, you know, the specialist at Cleveland Clinic, so I could have transferred somewhere else. But, you know, I prayed about it. I talked to my mom about it. I used to pick up the phone, bro, and this is a true story. I used to pick up the phone at 11, 12 o'clock at night, man, couldn't sleep. Calling coach again, talking to coach again. He picked up that phone, man, on the second ring, just venting to him, talking to him. Just, you know, hey, man, what should I do? What's my next steps?
What were some of the things that Coach Gann was telling you? Because I know, like you said, you were probably 19, 20 years old. You were at a young age, and that was, man, I love this, because that was such a vital part of your life. Like you could have went in any direction.
Any
Like
direction, bro.
we've seen guys be 20, experience turbulence, and go back to Cleveland and get on bullshit. Like we've seen that. So like, what were some of the things that again told you? And obviously, you had a support system. You had your mom, but you also had him. What were some of the things that they told you just to keep you in a game, to keep you motivated, to keep you smiling, to keep you happy? Like because you've been an athlete your whole life.
So one thing they told me, and I'm glad I did, because it basically set my life up to where I'm at now, man. And just it's crazy how they say one decision can alter your entire life. And he said, find a way to stay around the team. So I went to my coach, my head coach at the time. It was Dave Clausen. And I sat down in his office, heart to heart with him. And I said, Coach, I need to stay around the team. I need to stay around football. You know what I'm saying? I don't need any extra time outside of football. When y'all practicing, I need to practice. When y'all travel, I need to travel. I mean, the guy respected me so much, man, and because I was a light on the team. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was a troublemaker or anything like that. So it was like, what do you want to do? You want to help out coaching? You want to help out in the equipment room, strength and conditioning? So, bro, I did it all. I helped out in the equipment room. I helped out in speed, strength and conditioning. I helped out on the assistant D-line coach. So I stayed around the team, and I didn't miss one game. They traveled me. I was a coach.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
At a young age, and it was crazy, bro. My teammates, bro. Like you know how when you coach and you get in your zone. You don't care who it is. You in your zone. So it was like my boys. I'm coaching them, bro. I'm being hard on them. I'm calling them out for not touching the line, and they responding, bro. Positive. They touching it because they knew, okay, Big Dub, he care about me. You know what I'm saying? This is the better me. And it was something that, man, I really started to enjoy. And then it made every year after that. I mean, the next 2 years, I was doing the same thing. I was there coaching them in summertime, them hot summer workouts. I didn't miss one. I mean, it was just, it was awesome, man. They respected me as I was a coach, and even the older players. That's amazing. It was awesome. So it was a community thing. It was like everybody made that turbulence that I had easy on me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I found something that I started finding enjoyment in doing besides playing football. It was like, okay, well, I'm going to start helping my teammates get better. And then that's what I pride my career on now, helping my guys get better. And it's just like I got a coach mentality, man. Whoever I come across, my boys, anybody. Like, it's just a coach mentality. And it was like that small decision. Because I could have easily said, you know what? I'm done with football. I'm about to just have fun now. Or I'm about to go get a job. You know how it is. We broke.
You know that. Yeah. No money, no resources.
You go get a job, whatever. But it was like, no, I wanted to do something to start building my resume. Because I majored in sports management, minored in entrepreneurship. So with those things on my resume as a sport management major, it was like, okay, after I graduated, the sky's the limit. I have playing experience, and then I have, experience from being a strength coach, a strength and conditioning coach, assistant D-line coach.
Yeah. And you have the education.
And I got the education, good grades, good GPA. I mean, it was just like everything started to fall in place. And then they had ended up doing Bowling Green ended up doing an article on me, basically on everything that happened. Like you said, the turbulence that I encountered. And basically what I did with that turbulence, how I've turned that negative situation into something so positive.
That's amazing.
And I was look, I ain't gonna lie. I never went to the library to study. We were always in study table, but for some reason, Brian, this particular year, I was in the library. And a BGSU alum was running the library at the time. A former football player, he's a diehard Bowling Green guy. And he came up to me. I had my Letterman jacket on. And he said, are you the guy that just did that article on Winston Etheridge? I said, yes, sir. And we just got to talking, bro. And he's like, what do you want to do after you quit playing? I said, I want to do something that I'm doing now. I really just want to coach and mentor and help people. And he said, okay. He said, this is my email. He said, send me your resume over winter break because this was, fall semester, the end of fall semester. So I sent it to him, Brian. I just met this guy. But obviously people do their background. They ask, they ask the coaches.
They ask around.
Before they put their name out on you. I promise you, man, the guy, he's very connected. He sent my resume to every school, bro. Literally, he had connections with every athletic academic department in the country. I mean, LSU, Memphis, Ohio State, Michigan State, just everybody, bro. Even Iowa. He had connections out Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, everywhere. And everybody replied. And they were just saying, we read over the resume, blah, blah, blah. However, right now we don't have an open availability. However, if he's willing to wait, you know how it goes. Memphis, University of Memphis.
They had a spot.
Bro. And I was like, I ain't never been to Memphis.
Right, it's different. It's different.
I went to state in school. I went to school in state. So it's like, it's gonna be.
So at that point, you had never been out of Ohio.
No, not for school. No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So we packed. I had a Suburban. We packed the Suburban up, bro. Filled it up. We drive down to Memphis. Get some good barbecue. I started mentoring the football players. My second year, started mentoring the basketball players. That's when I started grad school. So I was down there for a total of 3 years. The last 2 years I finished on my MBA. And it was just like, it was eye-opening, man. Just living in Memphis, working with that athlete and hearing some of the stories that, some of those athletes have. It felt like I was at, Glenville again. And it really touched my heart, man. And I won't lie to you. That was probably one of the most fulfilling jobs I've ever had in my life. Like being able to mentor them guys, man, and just, help them out, man. It was, those guys, some of the guys from Mississippi, some of them from Houston, some of them from, inner Memphis, and just talking to them guys, helping them, being a mentor to them, going through their syllabus. And just making sure they're staying on track.
Just teaching them how to navigate through everything. Yeah,
how to send proper emails to their professors. Yeah, just a true life skill coach, man. And I truly enjoyed it. And I thought that was where my career was going to go. And
I love that, bro, because that was going to be my next question. Because that was one thing I wanted to hit on for any of our younger listeners or our younger viewers, how you're the ladder in which you took to get where you are now. Like it's not easy, but that's one thing I wanted to point out. How did you get from BG to Memphis, and then from Memphis, I think, to Penn State, right? Yeah. And then from Penn State and to the director of finance. These steps aren't easy steps, but you needed help along the way. And so that's so powerful that you literally met a guy randomly at the BG library. And he read the article. Obviously, he was touched or moved by your story. He took your resume. He sent your resume to candidates. One of them responded, moved there. Man, that stuff is so powerful. Just being a solid guy, just doing the right things, man. Yeah. It's gonna travel. It's gonna go with you. And more than not, it's gonna be able to create that next opportunity, man. So that's so powerful. So after your Memphis experience, working with football players, basketball players, and getting your master's, getting your MBA, what was your matriculation to Penn State? What made you want to do? Because you got another degree as a graduate assistant at Penn State. So why was Penn State the next step? Just kind of walk me through that a little bit.
So, kind of going back to what you just mentioned, man. All these different sequences along the timeline, man, it all came from just having good character, carrying yourself with respect, man, knowing, one, that I'm respecting my family. I'm showing respect, from my family, as well as Glenville, man. We represent Glenville because the thing is, everybody's like, oh, that's the guy from Glenville. That's the guy from Glenville. So it was like, I want to make sure no one has anything bad to say about the guy from Glenville.
Of
You
course.
know what I'm saying? Because I represent Coach Ginn and what he's trying to build. I was like I said, I was the very first recruit to Bowling Green. They didn't want to deal with any Bowling Green guys. So I mean Glenville guys. So it was like, you know, that I was the first recruit. So it was like after that, they were trying to go after more. More because they was like, okay, you know, these guys are great.
These guys are good guys.
Great. Yeah. Just because we from in the inner city doesn't mean anything. These are great guys. You know what I'm saying? They groom them well. Coach Ginn, you know, he instilled the right things in them along with their family. So, you know, it's all about character. And that transition from Memphis to Penn State would have never happened if it wasn't for character, because my D-line coach from Bowling Green, my junior year, went along to be the defensive line coach at Vanderbilt. And he made that connection with Coach Franklin and his staff, who's the head coach at Penn State. I was finishing up my MBA program, bro, stressing out. One, because I had a 40-page single-space paper I had to finish. Two, because I didn't know what was next, bro. It was like, at this point, I felt the same way I felt my last semester at Bowling Green. I did not know what is coming next. And he called me and said, "Hey, Winston, I've been following you, and mind you, we always stayed in communication because he's just that type of guy, man. It's like,
of course,
you know, you was his player, but at the same time, he looked at you like, you know, you one of my dogs. Like, you my player, but you want, you know, we building a friendship and a brotherhood. So he always reached out to me. I reached out to him. I was finishing grad school. He called me. Penn State or Vanderbilt, or that staff had just went from Vanderbilt to Penn State.
Penn State,
So he called me. They weren't even moved up to Penn State yet. They had just got on there on a private jet and all that. You know, that sort of stuff. So he called me like, "Hey, we're going to be back in Nashville this weekend. Can you find time to drive up? Do you want to work at Penn State?" Man, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the pay was. None of that. I said yes. I said yes. So I got in my truck, bro. Drove up from Memphis to Nashville. Met with the Coach Franklin and the rest of the staff. And, you know, I'm in a suit. I mean, not a suit, but because it was hot, so I ain't wear my jacket. I'm in a shirt and tie. It's June in Nashville, bro. It's 98 degrees. Hot.
It's super hot.
Super hot, bro. Feet burning up in my black socks. So, you know, we meet up at a taco place downtown Nashville. And, you know, it was just like, wow, these are, you know, the Penn State coaches. So I'm talking with them, man. I'm thinking it's about to be a Q&A interview type deal. We're sitting down, we're talking, and you know everything went well. I mean, I'm getting back on the highway. I said, Coach Spence, you know, when do you think I would know something? Mainly because I got to make arrangements, you know.
Right.
And he said, we'll let you know in about a week. So I'm getting on the highway to head back to Memphis. He calls me. He said, how soon can you get to State College? I said, man, bro. I literally cried for about 20 minutes on the way back.
I can only imagine, man. That quick. It happened that quick for you.
That quick, dog.
Wow.
And, you know, I started packing up right away. As soon as I got back, bro. I'm packing up. You know, obviously I had to find a place to live, find a place to stay. He opened his house up to me until I was able to find something. I drove. That's a long ass drive, bro, from Memphis, Tennessee to State College.
To State College? How long was that? Was that like 16, 17 hours?
Man, it was like 16, 17 hours, bro. And I did it by myself perfectly fine. I got there, couldn't even sleep because I was so excited. So
I mean, and that was my next question. What was it like transitioning from, obviously Memphis is still Division I. I can't remember what conference they're in, but going from obviously you playing in the MAC, being a student in the MAC, graduating from a MAC university, then going to Memphis, working with basketball players, working with football players, doing your thing in your role, but then going to State College. I mean, you got your Saquon Barkleys, you got ABC games, you got the white. I played against Penn State every season. You got the white horses in front of 115,000. So
the
what was it like?
Was crazy.
Man, oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
What was it like transitioning from Memphis to that? was there any pressure or did you kind of bring out that kind of inner city mentality? Like, nah, like I'm here because of my character. I'm supposed to be here. So now it's kind of like, okay, let's get it. Like, let's perform. Let's do what I'm here to do. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like for you?
I mean, like you said, it was literally like walking up the stairs in terms of like Bowling Green, Memphis, and then Penn State. It was like every level. It was like, damn, I'm getting higher and higher, you know. And then Penn State was one of them schools that it's like, man, I mean, other than Alabama, Georgia, you know, it's tough to get higher than that.
Exactly.
And getting into that school, man, just seeing the community, getting to know the community, the alumni from Penn State are, bro, I ain't gonna lie, the best alumni I ever seen. I had interns that used me as a reference, that people were calling me, jobs from New York calling me to ask me about recommendations, and they were getting offered $110,000, $150,000 straight out of college, bro.
Straight out of college.
It's only because they graduated from Penn State, and all those people, all those alumni, they put their resumes at the top, and they were just picking Penn State. I was like, man, that is awesome. Even being down here in Georgia,
that's amazing, bro.
I meet a lot of Penn State people, and it's like, I mean, they look out for each other, bro. I've never seen anything like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. But the transition, bro, it was another culture shock, bro. Going like you said, them big games, you know, whiteouts, you know, against Ohio State, against Michigan every year.
Yeah.
Going to the big house. I played in the big house at Bowling Green, against shoelacing them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was different. It was different coaching.
It was different going
at
as a coach
in Michigan. It was different, bro. It was a different atmosphere. It was totally different. It was like, wow.
Yeah, I played in the big house too. It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different, bro.
120,000, and they like all packed in. So they like on top of you, like.
Yeah. So it was a huge difference, man. Obviously, Penn State, man, it didn't seem like they had a budget. Everything we did was big. That was my first time going out of the country. We went over to Ireland and played University of Central Florida.
Wow. What was Ireland like, bro? What was Ireland like? What was that experience like?
Ireland was very eye-opening. The architecture on the buildings was something that I've never paid attention to because it was totally different than, you know, downtown Cleveland or, you know what I'm saying? Like those buildings are totally different. It's like those old cathedral churches on every building looked like an old cathedral church. So the food was a little different, healthy. The Guinness, we went to the Guinness, the beer factory where they make beer, and they, you know, we went through like how they made beer. And at that time, you know, I wasn't a player; I was a coach. So, you know, being able to taste some of that beer is totally different than the Guinness beer that we get over here. I mean, it's totally different. I'm not even a beer drinker, but it was way different just seeing the process of how beer is made. And Ireland was very different, man. We stayed in a top-notch hotel. We flew, man, that flight was like 13 hours. I've never been on a flight for 13 hours, man.
For that long,
Yeah, it was a great experience, man. Just driving on the opposite side of the road messed me up.
Man, I mean, imagine. Yeah, it's on a bucket list, so it's on my bucket list. So for you to go at such a young age, man, I had to get that inside look. That's dope.
Yeah, it was different, and the fact that we played on we played on a soccer field. They they turned it into a football field. And it was a good experience, man. Everything at Penn State was it was awesome. It was a great experience, great coaches. And just meeting and networking, man. That's what it's all about, just networking. Because when you network and you know you have that you make that connection with certain people, man, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit, man.
I couldn't agree more. So one question about networking. What advice would you give to like I said, any younger viewers or younger listeners as far as networking? Because one thing, obviously I've been doing a lot of networking, probably like in the last 7 or 8 years. But one thing that I noticed is like, how do you differentiate like organic and authentic networking as opposed to just kind of like looking for something networking, right? Like, because I'm sure you know how to matriculate through different networking events and things of that nature. So what advice would you give to any of our younger viewers or younger listeners who want to know, like who are confused or don't really know how to work a networking space? Like what did you tap into when you were networking or attending different networking events and allowing yourself to get these different contacts?
Well, man, I love the quote that Jay-Z once said. I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. So
Yeah.
I always took that as everything I do, no matter where I go, I'm representing Winston Etheridge III. So
Yeah.
when I talk to people, I'm talking to them as I'm selling myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what I can do, my attributes, and who I am. The biggest thing about me is it's all about who I am, man. It's I put pride into, you know, being a good person, being a good man. So when I network with certain people, it's like if I don't feel that that it's genuine, I don't even deal with it because I don't have time to deal with people that's not genuine. So it's literally like I don't network with people who I don't think have my best interests at heart. At that point, it's pointless.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you networking with somebody that doesn't have your best interests at heart, you wasting your time.
Exactly.
In my opinion, you know what I'm saying?
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that I learned in the mentoring realm, y'all used to go to like NADA, not NADA. Damn, I can't even remember. But basically like academic workshops. Like we used to meet with all the academic counselors in the entire country, Big Ten, ACC, SEC, everybody. And that's when I really, really started networking. And I literally found people who were doing things that I could envision myself doing. And I went up to them and I talked to them. And you just have to have, Coach Ginn always talk about having that courage to be different. So I always just put myself out there, man, because it's like where we come from, it's like if you don't, then nobody's just gonna give you anything. So it was like I always
a closed mouth don't get fed or entertained. You got to say something.
But I saw it. I used to see it because Coach Ginn used to do it. Coach Ginn can go in front of any college coach and close any player, bro. He can close the coach on any player if he want to. Like the man, I saw it firsthand. So it was like when I got into that real world, I'm implementing things that I saw on a daily basis. When we used to go to those camps, when my very first camp, bro, very first time, Ball State, the coach that left Ball State and went to Michigan. Very first camp off the tour, bro. First offer, me and Amistad, both get offered from him. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I seen Coach Ginn work. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what networking is. You selling yourself or you helping somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like networking to me is one building a circle of influence and 6 degrees of separation. You're connected to every 6 people that you meet. Like, I know you, so I'm now connected to your network. You know me, you now connected to my network. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how you work it. But I only do it with genuine people, bro. That's it. Like if I knew, like I ain't gonna lie to you, if I knew this interview wasn't gonna be genuine, I wouldn't have done it. Like,
of course.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, it's Brian. Me and Brian always had, we were always tight.
We always been tight.
We ain't never stepped on each other's toes. We ain't never said nothing bad about each other. So it was like, I'm gonna do the interview, because I respect bro. So networking is.
Man, I love that, man. And it's like the power of networking, but it's also like you alluded to, the power of relationships. And also putting yourself out there, not being afraid or not being scared that you may get viewed as this or viewed as not cool. Oh, look at him, he going to talk to him, he doing all that, or he talking this, he talking that, he doing too much. Like, no, if it, like you said, if it's organic, if it's genuine, I'm trying to build on something, man. So that makes sense. That makes sense, bro.
What they say, Brian, scared money don't make no money. You can't be scared, bro. You gotta put yourself out there.
You got to, man. You got to, bro. And I love that, man. So your next step in your career journey, director of finance, man. Talk about how you got there. Like what was was there an interview process? Did you use one of your football contacts to get the interview? Just walk us through how you got to where you are now after Penn State. Obviously, like we've been talking about, just for anybody who's listening and watching, and maybe want to follow in your footsteps and just really want to get that inside look or that game on how to continue to get to where you are now.
So, great question. I was very close with a lot of the older players, mainly because I just felt like my maturity level at such a young age in my career was a little bit more advanced. So I hung out with, people my age and people in my class, but I was very, very tight with a lot of the older guys. So one of my very, very close buddies had graduated. So he was, he was sitting on the couch. I always mess with him. He was sitting on the couch at his townhome, which is right around the corner from mine in Bowling Green. I used to go over there when I had a little free time. And, we used to play 2K and Madden and college football. Right. And he's on the couch looking for jobs, bro. Like not knowing what the hell to do, not knowing what these jobs entail. He's just applying. So he gets hired as a finance manager at a Chrysler Jeep Dodge store in Toledo, which is right up the road. So he gets that job. I asked him about it because he started living a little different, Brian. So
he sets that bag. He sets a bigger bag.
To this day, Brian, he brings this story up. Myself and only one other person, because he, being from working in Toledo and Bowling Green, all your friends in Bowling Green, that drive is 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So on the weekends, he used to come, chill with us. And I'm like, man, I'm just watching. I'm like, okay, he pull up in a brand new, at 21, at 22, he's probably 22, a brand new Charger RT supercharged and just Gucci and just looking, real good.
Right. Like, he upped his quality of living a little bit.
So quick, bro. So quick, Brian. So it's like, I used to ask him, hey, man, what do you do? Like, what are you doing, bro? This man buys a huge house in Toledo. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? I'm thinking he's doing, multiple things. Right, bro. This is what I do. And, he put me in contact with the guy who hired him. Okay. And that guy and myself, we talked. He interviewed me. He asked me, what did I want to do? I didn't know anything about car business or finance or any of that. Right. I put him on hold. This was before I went to grad school. So I put him on hold. When I finished grad school, I remember I think it was the Golden State Cleveland final series in Cleveland. I came back home I had tickets. I don't remember how I got tickets. I went to the game. But right before that game, bro, I'm on the phone with him walking around the parking garage for like 2 hours. The game then started. And I'm talking to him, interviewing, because I'm like, at this point, I want a job. You know what I'm saying? I want to live a different lifestyle. And exactly. He was like, you put me on hold for about 2 years, but that's okay. I love former football players. Calvin, my boy's name is Calvin. Like, Calvin has done such a great job. Where do you want to go? Like, where do you want to live? I said, I told him, I said, Charlotte, Atlanta, or Dallas, Texas. All cities that I like. And he said, well, Dallas, I don't want to burn you out. They sell so many cars in Dallas that I don't want you to get there and hate the profession. I said, okay, I respect that. He was like, well, Winston, Charlotte is up and coming, but it's not there yet. They're not really making the right money. I said, I respect that. I said, I guess Atlanta it is. And I moved down here, and he put me in a store, bro, in 6 months. I killed it, and at that particular store,
the rest is history.
The rest is history. And then I got into another company, and it's like you just keep getting recruited. You know,
Yeah,
and people
yeah,
just, you know, as they find out about you or as you network and build your circle
yeah,
of influence, people, you
yeah.
know, you get on LinkedIn, people reach out to you. And
Hmm.
I mean, from there, bro,
Yeah.
it's history, man. I was a finance manager, and then within, you know, 3 or 4 years, I became a director.
Director of finance.
And, man, and since I've been a director, man, it's like now I'm back to being able to coach. You know, I'm able to,
Right.
most importantly, hire and be very selective with the right people.
Hmm.
I'm able to train and coach and mentor. But then, more importantly, I'm able to treat people right so they don't want to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So because
Exactly.
just like any championship team, the Chicago Bulls, Alabama, whoever, I mean, the most important thing is taking care of the people. And if you
All
take
the
care of the
time.
people, man, the people will run through a wall for you, Brian. So it's like,
Always. You
yeah,
know that.
just like us. I mean, you know, with Coach Ginn, and you know, I'm pretty sure you're tight with some of your college coaches. It's just
Of
certain
course.
people that come around, man, and it's like, man, I'll do whatever for you. You know,
Exactly.
if
At
I
all
can
times.
at all times, man. So
Yeah.
it's like when you build that and people, and mind you, everybody I've ever managed is older than me, Brian.
Yeah.
Older than me, bro. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just that genuine, you know, coaching mentality that I have. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
only hard on you because I want you to be better.
Yeah.
My expectations for you may be more than what yours are for yourself, but we gonna
Yeah.
get there.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
awesome.
And I always think that's kind of a weird thing because I'm a supervisor in finance as well,
Mhm.
accounts receivable for a hospital, and everyone that I've managed over the past year in the role that I've been in has been older. So it's been different, like just just looking at different nuances, seeing what works for certain people, seeing what doesn't, as far as coaching, as far as like you say, mentoring
Yes.
or showing a better way, but keeping them motivated to get to the team goal, the monthly
Yeah.
goal, the monthly AR goal, whatever that is. I've alluded to so many things that I learned through football, as far as like adversity, as far as maybe I had a hard day, but not calling out the next day, like
Hmm.
being proud to be the first in the office, even after a hard day. Just those are
Yeah.
the small things that we used to do as football players. We can put that on now to to the profession we're in now. So that's
And
powerful.
I take my hat off to you on that because, like you said, we're managing people that's older than us. So we're
Hey,
managing baby boomers. We're millennials. We're managing
exactly,
millennials. So it's like
exactly.
we have to be creative in our management style because everybody doesn't respond the same. So it's
Exactly.
like our generation. I mean, millennials are, you know, we're different, but
Yeah,
that's
we
because
different.
of
Yeah,
technology. That's because of how we, you know, how we were brought up, different, you know, different
exactly.
times. So
So
it's like
true.
we have to manage everybody different to get the most production out of people. You know, so I take my hat
So,
off to you because it's not an easy task.
bro, it's not easy. And people, I tell people all the time, and I'm sure you can prelude to this: management, being a director, supervisor, whatever your role, it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
It's not for everybody, because you got to be a people's person, but you got to know the difference from what's professional and what's not, and how to at all times be professional, even when people give you attitudes, just all those
Hmm.
kinds of things. And I'm sure you can allude to that too, man. So just one more question, bro. What would you say is Winston Etheridge's after effect through the 20 years that you played, the 20 years that you played football, all the experiences, all the wins, the losses, playing football, being a mainstay in football, a mainstay in basketball, experiencing turbulence at a young age for with an injury at 19, 20, and really having to like dig and claw yourself out of that. What were some lessons that you learned through that whole experience that you take now, ingratiate into your family, into your young kings now, and into your employees that you manage, just essentially as we try to push this culture forward?
Man, the biggest thing, and we kind of been alluding to it all, you know, all this conversation is just
Yeah,
looking at every negative situation, man, and saying, you know what, it's a positive in it, and we gonna
right,
find that positive, and we're gonna build off that positive. Because if you don't, what you're doing is you wasting your mental capacity, and you're just staying
right,
stagnant, and we
right,
don't have time for that. I mean,
right. No time.
the people who can move forward the fastest wins. The people who can change that negative situation into a positive situation wins. I mean, it's
man, I couldn't agree more, bro.
and persevere, man. I mean, I've been persevering my entire life. Walking the streets of St. Clair, growing up where I grew up, man. It's all perseverance. Having friends that I grew up.
And I've been there at your house, like, you know what I'm saying? I've met your family, all those things. So that's why I was like, I feel like this conversation is so genuine, but I'm so interested in your journey. And I thought this was a great conversation because I've been at your house when we were 16, 17. Like your mom then gave me like a turkey sandwich, asked me if I was hungry. Like,
well, she feed everybody, but
that's what I'm saying. Like we've been in the same spaces, man. So to see all the things that you've done, man, your after effect of your career to what you do now is just so powerful, man.
Yeah, no, it's persevering, man. You got to push through life. If you ever stop pushing, man, you failing yourself. Failing yourself. And sometimes my wife, she's so hard on me because she like, you need to take a break. You need to calm down. You need to do that. I don't know how. She calls me a robot. I don't know how. I have so many other things going on as well. I mean, I like to call myself a serial entrepreneur. I mean, I just bro. Like,
right.
I sometimes I overwhelm myself too much, but it's like I can't stop. I gotta keep it's something in me. I gotta keep pushing forward, bro.
Exactly, man. I'm the same way, bro. And I think that just that dog football mentality, and just being from Cleveland too, it puts something in you. It puts something in you.
Yeah.
Like if you have those right networks, if you have those right mentors that put that in you, once you have it as a grown man, like you said, you can't shake it. You're gonna always be putting in the work. That's all you know how to do is put in the work.
Yeah, that's it. That's
it. Yes.
It's a good thing, and that's why I love former football players, bro. Like, every former football player that have played at a D1 school, I mean, man, their work ethic, their mentality is just different.
You know it's different. You know it's different than your average person. And
they want to compete in everything.
Nothing against the average person or somebody who go to college. Nothing against them. But we both know we different. We're a different breed, and no matter what we doing, it's different.
Waking up at 5 o'clock every morning and going hard because that's the only choice we have. Getting on that hip press, putting $400 or 500 pounds on our back at 5:30 in the morning. I mean, it's different, bro. It's basically teaching us to do things that we don't want to do.
Exactly, and fighting through it and persevering. Yes. Man, I couldn't agree more, bro. Well, that's actually all I had, man. One thing that I've been trying to pride myself on in all my episodes since I created this platform is giving guys flowers while they still here, man. 2020 was a weird year. We lost a lot of people. And one thing that I feel like in a Black community, I feel, and I can only vouch for my experience, man. I grew up real tough. My old man from Kinsman, it was always, nigga, stick your chest out, get through it. It was never, I mean, it's always show love, man. But I just think our generation, we are the generation that can break that barrier, that can show love where love is due, man. So all the accolades, all the accomplishments, like I said, we met when we were 16 years old. This is a 16-year relationship, which is crazy. But man, to see everything that you've done, man, I want to give you your flowers and say, man, I'm super proud of you, bro. Keep doing your thing as far as the director of finance, as far as all your entrepreneurial goals, man. I'm actually in Atlanta as well, so I'm sure that maybe we can link up and like have some coffee or have lunch and just talk about some different things, whatever we can do together, man. But I want to show you that love face to face, man to man, give you your flowers while we both still here, bro.
Man, that's real. I appreciate that, Brian. And I want to give you your flowers too, bro. I mean, what you're doing, what you've done, just seeing you go through your journey, man, it's been awesome. It's been awesome to watch.
I appreciate it, bro.
And I take my hat off to you. You're doing something great. I seen you post something the other day, maybe been today, that somebody basically saying that you were doing a very, very good job. And man, we need to lift each other up even more.
We got to, man.
In the times we're in, Brian, I mean, we got to lift our Black brothers up more, man, because the world is trying to tear us down. So, like you said, our flowers while we're here is important because when you go, I don't know these things. You don't know these things. You know what I'm saying? So the way people feel about you when you alive, man, we got to share that, man. So I take my hat off to you, Brian, man. That's big because that's a selfless act, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I appreciate that. I received that, man. I actually just saw something today that Swiss Beats said. Obviously, God bless the dead, DMX. Man, he died at He died at a young age, 51. My father is 51, so that hit me home. I had a long conversation with my dad as far as his health choices and just making better choices to prolong his life. But that's what he said. He preluded to that. Like, man, all these people here at this funeral, everybody's showing him his love. But he was like, man, he needed us when he was alive. He needed this. He needed this when he was alive. Maybe he wouldn't have overdosed. Maybe he wouldn't have took whatever he took and overdosed and ended his life. Like, and so that really was powerful for me. I'm like, man, like I've already been giving guys flowers, but it's like, man, maybe I need to do more. Maybe I started reaching out to different guys that I hadn't talked to in a long time. Just texting like, hey, bro, not sure, what you up to, whatever. Just hope everything is good. Just really just tapping back in with everyone, man, because like you said, you can't show love when a person is gone. Yeah, their family can feel it, but they can't feel it. Yeah, like you said, it's pointless. So yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, that's all I had, bro. I know you're super busy, bro. I know I told you 20 minutes, but I knew we was gonna get on and talk a little longer.
That's fine, bro. This is good convo, man. It's healthy.
Man, definitely healthy, man. So yeah, we'll stay in touch, bro, and have a good night, man. And like I said, we'll stay in touch. Hopefully we can get together at some point.
No doubt, Brian. I'll holler at you.
All right, bro. All right, man. Peace. Yeah, guys. So, man, I thought that was an amazing episode 55 with Winston Etheridge. As you can see, the director of finance for Ashbury Automobile. I think he started at Nissan before that, but he's been matriculation and, his career at Bowling Green ended early as a 19, 20-year-old. He had to figure life out, went to Memphis to get his Master's of Business Administration, finished grad school at Penn State as a graduate assistant, and then automatically got into the finance manager realm with automobiles, starting here in Atlanta, Georgia. Now he's the director of finance at Ashbury Automotive. Man, I thought, his story is just so powerful, just resiliency, a lot of things that he learned from football. He entered into his profession now, and he's flourishing. So I thought that was a powerful episode. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like, please share, please leave a comment if you have a question. Please subscribe to LeBron Daniel TV. If you are listening to this on any audio platform, please like it, please rate us, please leave a review. As you know, the only money that we make off of our audio experience is through listenership. So please leave a review or rate us as well. So until the next time, peace.
Subscribe to LeBron Daniel TV, but you already knew that, where we dig deep and find our hustle, and every single day we are better than yesterday. Subscribe.